Howdy gamers, and ladies, try to contain yourself, because today, we're going to be talking about Mario Party E. Now if you've never heard of Mario Party E, I don't blame you. It was a card game made by Nintendo, and was released in 2003. Now you might be thinking, why is it called Mario Party E? I mean, look at all these other letters. There are like 24 better letters. But the reason they chose E was because it made optional use of the Nintendo e-reader add-on for the Game Boy Advance. Now, I don't want to go too in-depth into the e-reader because I plan on making a video on that another time, but the e-reader is basically an early version of amiibo card scanning. The e-reader itself would go into the Game Boy Advance's game slot, and from there you can scan cards, or at least try to scan cards. Long story short, the e-reader failed here in the States and was then discontinued in 2004, the year after Mario Party E came out. And believe it or not, Mario Party E failed too. And in fact, I believe Mario Party E was only released here in America and Japan. I would imagine that part of the reason as to why Mario Party E failed is because of the name implying that it heavily used the e-reader in the game, which it does use the e-reader, but it's entirely optional. Of course, advertising for the game didn't tell you that. Nintendo's Winter 2002 promotional booklet said you're invited to join him along with all his friends, and a few enemies, in a new e-reader game based on the hit video game series Mario Party. Up to 4 people can battle it out in this card game gone wacky. Use the Nintendo Game Boy Advance and e-reader to challenge your opponents to a duel or tempt fate in a wonder challenge. Card games have never been this much fun. And if you're wondering if other ads mentioned that the e-reader wasn't required, I don't think so. In fact, that was the only ad for the game that I could find online, which is probably another reason why this game failed. Poor advertising. I mean, it makes sense that they would push the e-reader with this game though, because this was literally the only e-reader exclusive game, and the e-reader was failing, so I'm pretty sure that Nintendo was relying on Mario Party E to sell people on the idea of the e-reader. I mean, it's a Mario Party card game, how bad can it be? Actually, in my opinion, this game is really good. I went in with low expectations because it sold so badly, and I hadn't even heard of this game until a few weeks ago. But basically, the way the game works is that it's played with 2 to 4 people just like all the Mario Party games prior, except like I mentioned earlier, this isn't a board game, it's a card game. Technically the game does come with a playmat that acts as a board, but it's not Monopoly, you don't need it. The board is only there to help organize placement of cards. Other than a playmat though, the game comes with a deck of 64 cards, nice one Nintendo, and a set of rules. Technically you could get an extra card called the double coin card, which was given away in a copy of GamePro magazine, but I don't have that card, and I'm willing to bet that you don't either. Anyways, once you have the deck all shuffled and on the board, everyone draws 5 cards and then the youngest goes first and draws a card and either plays a card or discards. This goes on until someone plays all the superstar clothing and then plays a superstar. But it's a lot more intense than that. It's like saying that Uno is just trying to get rid of all your cards. You're right, but you're also really underselling the game. In Mario Party E, there are 6 main type of cards. First, there are the coin cards, which are the backbone of the game. Most cards take coins in order to play them, so if you're planning on playing a card that requires coins, you need to play the coin cards first. It's your turn, place the coin in your in-play coin pile. Next, there are the superstar cards, which are the clothing cards, which take 2 coins to play, and star cards, which are free and you put these down in order to win the game. But stars can also be used to steal in-play items like clothing and coins. Then, there are the blocker cards, which can block people from stealing your in-play cards such as coins or superstar clothing, and some blocker cards can stop people from taking cards in your hand. Blocker cards take 1 coin to use, and then some offer the choice for 1 extra coin to counter. So if I was trying to steal someone's in-play items, if they had a blocker card and 2 coins in play, they could counter it and steal one of my in-play items. There are also the search cards, which has you doing anything from searching for items in the discard pile, to taking 3 of your own cards, discarding them, and then drawing 3 new ones. Also, there are the chaos cards, which do exactly what they sound like. They might discard everyone's in-play coins or shuffle everyone's hands together then deal them back out. And finally, there are the duel cards. This will have you dueling with someone to steal their cards in a Mario Party style minigame. Honestly, these are really fun and creative and can get really intense sometimes. First, there is the Bolt from Big Boo minigame. You basically just press A or B as fast as you can to outrun Boo. Then, whoever you're dueling goes next and tries to beat your time. Next, there's the Time Bomb Ticks minigame, where player 1 presses the switches in order from 1 to 16, and then player 2 has to beat their time. There is also the Waluigi's Rain minigame, where you try and get as many coins as you can while Waluigi throws hammers at you. Then player 2 goes and tries to beat your score. Next is Wario's Bluff, where you drive as close to the edge as possible without falling off, and then player 2 goes. This minigame is actually taken from a WarioWare game, which is kinda cool. And this game also has the strategy where if player 1 drives off the cliff, player 2 just has to stop right away to win, which is kinda cool. And the final duel minigame is where you and your opponent take turns pumping up a Wario balloon until it explodes. You also try and make it as big as you can before it pops, and whoever pops it loses. Now with all those different types of cards and minigames, I'm sure you can see why Mario Party E is a lot of fun to play. There is so much chaos throughout the game, and just when you think you might win, someone might come out of last place and beat you. I never did mention though that there are some other cards that have e-reader minigames that go along with it. But those are just where if you win the minigame, you don't have to pay the coin cost on the card. Personally, whenever I play Mario Party E, I don't do these minigames. Scanning in the e-reader cards really breaks up the flow of the game, and doing it for more than just the dual minigames seems unnecessary and really slows down the experience. That kinda stinks though, because other than the fact that there's a superstar card, the only thing that this game had in common with Mario Party were the minigames. And for the record, I have no idea if these minigames were even developed by Hudson Soft, the people who made all the other Mario Party games. Either way though, Nintendo definitely called the game Mario Party E just for marketing reasons. But back to what I was saying. The minigames outside of the dual ones are just unnecessary and slow down the experience. That's also one of the problems my siblings had with the game, the slowness of it. It's not very fast paced at the beginning, with the first few turns mainly consisting of playing down coin cards. And because playing a coin card takes up a turn, the game is really slow at some points. In the end, games take around an hour to play through, but I really did like this game. This isn't a review or anything, so I'm not going to give it a score out of 100 or give it an award, but I do recommend that you give this game a try if you can. The game isn't exactly cheap online, but if you can find it for cheap, I recommend you go for it. Or if you want to play it without e-reader support, I suggest that you get it on Tabletop Simulator, which is basically a $20 Steam game where you can practically play any board game or card game. I really wish that Mario Party E had received a sequel. I mean, obviously they have made other Mario Party games since then, but I mean a true follow-up on the Wii U could have been really cool to see happen. Especially with the Wii U gamepad and amiibo cards and amiibo figures, that would have been awesome. And maybe they could have made it more like traditional Mario Party with more board game and less card game. And maybe they could have experimented with it and gotten rid of minigames altogether. And maybe instead of Mario characters, it could have been Animal Crossing characters. Wait, no. I'm just describing the worst Nintendo game of the last decade. That's a bummer, because honestly, I hate talking about Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. And I would say that you should check out Mario Party E, but like I said, it's kind of hard to come by these days. So if you're bored during quarantine, instead of playing Mario Party E, I recommend you check out the YouTuber AntDude, who does reviews and retrospectives of video games that are honestly really funny. With that said though, stay safe, and I love you guys.